Yeah.
It was sort of like the movie is now. And he calls me up and he said, I wrote this series, Kingdom Come. I want you to adapt it as a novel. I said, okay, can I get the same deal I got on Miracle Monday? He said, no, they don't do that anymore. I said, okay, never mind. I love your approach to things, but I'm not going to want to do it. So he said, just read it. So he sent me the first 2 issues, which were out,
Right.
and then he sent me the 3rd one in pencils, and the 4th one he just sent a script. And I read them, and at the end of the 4th one, he dedicated the damn thing to me. So I called him up, I said, you put me in a hell of a bargaining position, I gotta do this now. And so I did. It was a lot of fun. I didn't much like working long distance with editors and artists and other people who wanted to get their 2 cents in. But as I was writing it, as long as I could keep the phone from ringing, I was having a lot of fun. And it came out okay.
Yeah. Did you work with Alex Ross?
With who?
Did you work with Alex Ross?
I did.
You did. What was your experience like with him?
Alex is difficult. Well, he likes things his way. And he had this notion, he's ridiculously talented. And people will cut him slack because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the character, McKay, Norman McKay, the minister, was his father.
Was his father, yeah.
As far as he knew, his father was a minister, and his name was Clark Ross.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted to write a tribute to his father, and that was how he approached the book. Well, it was a superhero story. So he said, my father wouldn't do things that way. My father would do this. And I keep saying, it's not your father. It's a character in a story. And at some point I had a 3-hour argument with him over what color his sweater was. On the phone, from California to New York. They had long distance in those days. It was no fun. And it just occurred to me, he drew a blue sweater. You look at the sweater, it's blue. And he insisted, well, the sweater's gray. I meant for it to be gray. I said, it doesn't matter what you meant for it to be, it was blue. And finally, after about 3 hours, he said, well, my father's got that sweater. It's a gray sweater. And I said, oh, I wish you'd told me that like 2.5 hours ago. The day would have gone better. So I said it was a gray sweater. I changed it all through the book. It was great. By then we had word processing, so I could do that. I shouldn't really say this stuff. But yeah, it was rough going, unless I had the room to myself with my word processor and nothing else was going on. If the phone rang, there was help to pay.
Right, excellent. One last question for the 3 of you. No, for the 3 of you. For the life of me, I can't understand. Okay, for the life of me, I can't understand. Why was there not all three? Why was there not more attention paid to Captain Marvel than Superman? Because he is infinitely more interesting, and you've got so much background. Superman is weak, compared to Captain Marvel. Why haven't you guys said, look, this character we can build a whole universe behind this, the story, the background, everything.
So why Superman and not Shazam? Since Shazam and Superman are very much the same. Now I know there was still some legal issues lingering.
No, there weren't.
No, there weren't.
There weren't. We made one.
Yeah. All right. Now, did you wrote the Captain Thunder?
I wrote the Captain Thunder story because
That was the test.
Shazam was Captain Marvel, and somebody said, okay, we should have a tie-in with Superman and Captain Marvel, and I said, well, they don't live in the same creation. It's not even like one could go into a parallel world. They weren't parallel. So I made up Captain Thunder because I wanted to do something evocative, but I didn't want to do the same character. At the same time, I wrote a Captain Marvel story called The Incredible Cape Man. I don't know if you remember that, but it was about this guy who wore a cape and a Superman costume and hung around in the subway. Some little old man just claiming to be a superhero.
Where's that from?
It was the same. It was the same period.
Same period,
Yeah, 73 or so.
Sounds like a Superman family story.
Marvel family, yeah,
Marvel family,
yeah, and then they, then Captain Marvel became a member of the DC universe, and I think that was a mistake. I still think it's a mistake. I mean, I put him in the Kingdom Come story because Mark has,
Yeah.
but I don't think Lou owns it. That's all. I mean, he's interesting. He's fun to deal with, but he's not. Somebody did a story last year or the year before where Clark found out that Billy was Captain Marvel, and he acted like a social worker.
Yeah, that was First Thunder by Judd Winnick. That was about that was a couple of years ago. I thought it was actually quite good. Yeah, he's trying to figure out why Captain Marvel's acting so strange.
Yeah,
about
so
a certain thing.
boyish.
And finally, Billy Shazam says, "Okay, look, I got to show you something." Shazam, and it's actually pretty good. This is a panel of Superman, and he just goes, "Who did this to you?"
Yeah, right.
And the next panel is him yelling at the wizard Shazam. It's like,
Right.
how could you do this to a child? And Shazam's like, I have my own blah 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 destiny magic
Right.
explanation, Deus Ex Machina. But I like it.
Yeah, and at some point Clark comes in Billy's little threadbare apartment that has nothing but a mattress on the floor.
Yeah.
And Billy thinks he's a social worker.
Yeah.
And Clark says, no, my name's Clark, and he pulls his shirt open and it shows him who he is really. And that was as good an approach as I could ever have thought to come up with, because it put a character who doesn't belong in this world into this world. He still doesn't belong in this world, and that was the point, you know.
I'm percent with you. I've always been a fan of Captain Marvel Shazam thing,
Right.
but yeah, just on the same planet. I always personally believe that if Shazam, Captain Marvel, they're all there, then yes, I do believe that it should be kind of neck and neck. It's
Yeah.
like, all right, Mr. President, call Captain Marvel this time.
Right.
You should call Superman last time. But there was never that strata. It was always Captain Marvel was like a tertiary sort of thing when they post-crisis and all that nonsense. So I agree with you.
Okay, thank you guys.